Hey guys, it's Dr. Thornell from Wareham Chiropractor, and today I want to share with you the 3 most toxic exercises. Now, keep in mind, I've been doing this, I've been a chiropractor for over 20 years now and have worked out my entire life. So I've been in the fitness field for nearly 40 years at this point. And these are not things that I think might be a problem. These are things that I have watched week in and week out come into our office and have just seen way too many times for this to be a coincidence. So I wanted to narrow it down to these 3 things for you. And if you can avoid these 3 things, you're going to save yourself some trouble. Number one, and in order to understand the first one, you have to understand spinal anatomy a little bit. If we were to look at somebody's neck, this is the base of the skull here in my hand, we are supposed to, as I stand this way, have a forward curve in our neck. When we do, the spinal cord is on the inside of that curvature, and the nerves are in a position where there's some slack and some flexibility, as well as the muscles. They're shortened. If I take that curvature and I straighten it out, you can see how all those muscles that would support the spine would be stretched, and the nerves would be stretched. And when we stretch nerve tissue, that's irritating. Now imagine if we go beyond straight and we bend that curvature in the opposite direction, what that's doing to those muscles as they attach on the base of the skull and then down into your shoulders, what that's doing to those nerves, none of it's good. This is the way it's supposed to be. If we get here, that's bad, okay? So keep that in mind. Now, here are 2 of the 3 exercises that you can avoid just by knowing that that posture of forward head stretching is bad. The first is very commonly known as pull downs. And this would be a bar that comes across, has a cable to the top. And when we do these pull downs, people jut their head forward like this and then pull the weight down behind them. Now, there's no advantage to having my head forward versus having my head back and pulling the weight down. The exercise is exactly the same to the body. As I do that, I just jut my head forward and put everything at risk as I lean forward with my head like that and then tighten those muscles. Doesn't make any sense. Second exercise is the exact opposite of that, which is presses. I have a bar with weights on it and I'm pushing the weight up. This to my shoulders and my body is the same exercise as this would be. I'm getting the same benefits, but once I go behind my head, I have to push my head forward or I'd be hitting myself in the head. I jut my head forward, I stretch all those nerves and muscles and put myself in a vulnerable position. So we avoid the pull downs behind the neck, we avoid the presses behind the neck. Use dumbbells or do them in the front this way. The third, and probably more common than even those 2, is the leg press machine. People like to do the leg press machine when they get in the gym because it's easy. They can put a lot of weight on and they feel like they're accomplishing something, but it is the single most common cause of injury that I see coming from the gym. And the reason for that is, again, we go back to the mechanics of the spine. We also have a forward curve in the lower back. And when we exercise with that forward curve, that's the strongest, most stable structure we can possibly have in the lower back. It allows us to squat up and down, and power lifters you'll see move 1,000 pounds and they can do that safely. Yet somebody bends over to tie their shoe and they hurt themselves. Well, why does that happen? Because we're no longer utilizing that forward curve of protection. So once we get out of that forward curve, we're in trouble. What does the leg press machine do? It takes us from having normal forward curve, puts us at an angle like this, and then has us push weight up. And if I draw it out, you'll understand it better. Leg press machine usually has a platform like this where our feet go. Then we would have our knees, and then we're in a seat with our low back tucked around this way, supported here like that, and our low back is completely forced into the opposite position that we want it to be. Normally we want that curve to look like this: forward curve in the neck, backward curve between the shoulders, forward curve in the lower back. Then the legs, if we were doing something like a squat, would be no problem. We can have forward curve, backward curve, forward curve, and our legs can be here like this, and we've still got that nice forward curve in the lower back. Once we take that curve and we reverse it like this and then put all this weight down on us here, we are just asking for problems into that lower back. So if you'll avoid those 3 exercises, you're going to save yourself a lot of trouble in the gym.